All right, class, we are moving along to, where are we? Question number 23. So here we have Tanya, who is on a treadmill, presumably at, say, I don't know, 6.3 miles an hour and a 1% grade. Call that 7 mets. That's her intensity, is 7 mets. To her, though, that's about 85% of her total VO2 max. So now we have a question. What is her total VO2 max? In order to find that out, we can use a little bit of math. Okay, let's actually squeeze this over. All right, and now we have it there. All right, so we need to know, well, what is her met max? What is her met max? If 7 mets is 85% of her met max, what is 7 85% of? And so in order to figure that out, we can just take 7 mets divided by 0.85. Divide that by 85%. And we know now that her met max is 8.23. 7 mets is 85% of 8.23 mets. Now we understand that VO2 units are different than met units. In fact, we know that 1 met, okay, 1 met equals 3.5 mLs per kg per minute. All right, and we know that VO2 max is written in these units. Okay, how much oxygen per milliliter per kilogram of body weight per minute are you able to use? And so what we can simply do then is take 8.23, okay, equals that number, times 3.5. And we have her VO2 max estimated to be 28.8. And there you find it. 28.8 is our answer. All right, let's pivot a little bit. Get rid of this box. Open up metabolic syndrome, which is our next question. So our next question, we want to know that whether Brenda has metabolic syndrome. That's really in the next question, but we want to know which of these indicates that she does have a risk factor for metabolic syndrome. So in order to figure this out, we need to jump over to our metabolic syndrome slide right here, and we see that in order to actually have metabolic syndrome, an individual has to have 3 or more of the following risk factors. So if we're checking off 3 or more, then the answer to the second part is automatically true. So, does she have 3 or more? Clearly you already see that she does, but let's see how we figure that out. Her waist circumference is 39 inches. Well, we're going to put a check next to that if that's over 35 inches for females. Brenda's a female. So that's an automatic check. Triglycerides, 145. Her triglycerides are under that threshold of 150. Her blood pressure is 128/68, but it's also medicated, so her blood pressure, having high blood pressure, systolic of 135 or above, that doesn't match. Diastolic 85 or above, now she's below that too. Or using high blood pressure medications, she's medicated, automatic check next to it. HDL cholesterol is 45. Is that low? Is that high? What do you guys think? Well, if it's less than 50 in women, then it is too low. It needs to balance out that LDL cholesterol. Hers isn't doing a good enough job at that. Blood glucose, anything less than 100 is okay. Anything over 100, not okay. This is less than 100. No checkbox necessary. So she has exactly 3, and we said that's 3 or more is exactly what she needs to be considered to have metabolic syndrome. Alright, last one in this part. Let's talk about Thomas. He's 64 years old. He doesn't smoke, but he has high blood pressure and high cholesterol, but his HDL is in a normal range. According to the Adult Treatment Panel, ATP3, what is Thomas's 10-year risk for developing cardiovascular disease? Answer is in a percentage. Okay, well, that means we have to consult this table, or chart. Alright, so Thomas is a man, so let's stay in this orange area. We know our end point is going to be a percentage. It said so in the prompt. And we also know a couple things about Thomas. Okay, so Thomas is 64 years old, and remember how we do this is we're accumulating points, and at the end of our point accumulation we can transfer over and see what the risk is associated with that number of points. The more points we have, the higher the risk of developing heart disease in the next 10 years. So, 64-year-old male, 60 to 64, he's 64, that's an automatic 10 points right there. What else does he have? How many points can we get up to here? He doesn't smoke. Well, non-smoker, 0 points. That's very good, Thomas. He does have high blood pressure, 145/84 untreated. Not asking me about diastolic, it's asking me about systolic. So 145 untreated, that's another point. So we went from 10 now to 11, adding the 10 plus the 1. Now we have 11 points. What else do we have? A high cholesterol, 245. High cholesterol is right up here, 245. For somebody in his age range, would be 2 more. So now we have 11 plus 2, which is 13 points. HDL in a normal range, 50 to 55, or 50 to 59, his 58. That's good. So no more points there, but we have accumulated 13 points. Now if we take our cursor down here to 13 points, what is his percentage risk? It looks like 12 to me. And that's exactly the answer.